Hello there, Goony124 here. Today I am playtesting a game called Time Survivors. This game, basically with the levels and the characters, they're basically of different times. Like, there is a caveman character, there's Abraham Lincoln, there's Cleopatra, though Cleopatra is one of the characters you can't really play as because they're not actually in the demo. But it's really cool in that aspect. And overall, the game's gameplay is basically like Vampire Survivors, and a lot of my what I'm going to talk about a lot about this game is how it kind of ties into Vampire Survivors and how I see there's a lot of games that are kind of trying to be like Vampire Survivors. But overall, the game is okay. I do think there are some issues regarding maybe how the game is balanced, but overall, it's been okay. I actually even played a bit of Vampire Survivors to kind of compare it to this game, because like I mentioned, we'll be comparing them games quite a bit. But yeah, let's actually start playing this game. So first of all, like if you haven't played a game like Vampire Survivors or this game, it basically goes like this. You have a character and you'll go into level as that character you want, and you will get items and weapons by filling your experience bar up, which is done by basically fighting enemies. And you will keep on doing this, and then you can also make your items and weapons better by doing, like, filling your experience bar up as well. And also fighting, like, mini bosses so they drop their upgrades as well. But yeah, the game basically goes like that until you get to the point where you will basically be really strong. Basically, you will, like, near the end of these kind of games, you will basically be one-shotting practically like every enemy around you. So that's basically how the game is supposed to be. So let's actually get into it. Let's play. And so we're going to play as Abe, because Abe has a flail, which is really good. But let's go to the Dark Age, which is the only level you can actually play, which is kind of sad, though. I would like to have played the dinosaur map, but I can't. But yeah, let's keep on going. But yeah, this is basically how the game works, is you will use your movement keys and go around, and I'm not actually pressing any buttons to actually activate them flails, by the way. It's doing that by default, which is how these kind of games work. So we're going to be basically doing the strategy I've been going with for quite a while. Like, as you've seen, we've been killing them rats, and we filled our experience bar up and got an item, or upgraded my flail. There's also a shop where you basically upgrade stuff outside the actual levels. And I've maxed my strength, and, well, almost maxed out my strength. I've added improved the cooldowns as well, and also added some regen on me as well. But yeah, this first level is, I think, quite difficult, which is one of the things I probably would criticize. Is I feel like there's a lot of stuff in this level I don't really like and can find quite annoying. Though the very first 15 minutes or so should be okay. I think the first 15 minutes is pretty decent. So let's re-roll. Oh yeah, radioactive skull's good. Basically acts like garlic from Vampire Survivors. But yeah, let me talk about a good thing about this game before I talk about more things I think need improving. Compared to a game like Vampire Survivors, I do like the multi-directional sprites compared to the simply bi-directional sprites. And they're a lot more detailed than Vampire Survivors sprites, which is pretty cool. I feel like in Vampire Survivors, it was basically very basic pixelated. But in this game, you know, they've actually made their art style a bit more distinctive by having them more detailed and more multi-directional sprites. Yeah, it's a good thing going for this game. Though, talking about sprite work and like the game and stuff, is I think it can be quite hard to see certain parts of the level. Like this tree here can be quite difficult sometimes to see when you're moving about, especially when there's a lot of enemies. Or when you're using the growth power-up, it can be quite difficult to move around because you get stuck on stuff you don't really see properly. So I feel like maybe make parts of the level a bit more distinct so you don't just walk into things, because I've died a few times that way, which is quite annoying. But yeah, we're going to keep on farming these skulls so we can get more and more weapons and items. Yeah, speaking of power-ups, I do like the growth power-up. I think it's probably the only unique power-up this game has, I think. Compared to Vampire Survivors. Oh, I can't... Oh, no! Okay, we're gonna have to choose a different... let's choose the amoeba, actually. But yeah, that is one thing I don't like about this game, is how restrictive the amount of items you choose. Like, sure, faster leveling and faster gameplay, in the sense that the game doesn't last as long as Vampire Survivors. I do think having very, you know, let's say having less slots than Vampire Survivors makes it a lot less lenient in gameplay. It also makes me think that the items I choose, like, I have to choose very specific ones to do well. Like, I'm basically doing the strategy I've always done. Because I feel like this is basically the best way to do the most amount of damage around you. Is have, like, stuff like garlic, the flail, and lightning. I've barely used the other projectiles from then on, because I just kept on dying due to annoying things in the level, so I just decided to just keep on using this. Oh god. A lot of damage. I think one cool thing this game does different than Vampire Survivors is when it comes to getting ruins, is you have to do a little challenge to get them, which is a pretty neat mechanic. I do like that they're trying to introduce their own mechanics that are different to Vampire Survivors. Like, I feel like that's one thing this game needs to do better, is just basically keep on adding your own unique stuff, your own unique mechanics that differentiate it from Vampire Survivors. Because I just keep on seeing so many games that are just trying to be like Vampire Survivors, like developers are trying to make their own Vampire Survivors. So I feel like if you want to make a game that's like another game, at least make sure your game is distinct enough from the original. Like, for example, a good example I like to make is, let's say, compare Minecraft to a game like 7 Days to Die or Vintage Story. For example, 7 Days to Die is a lot more realistic, but it has that kind of Minecraft kind of building mechanic with the voxel building. And Vintage Story, which is more Minecraft-y, makes it so you have to basically do things in a very realistic way. Like, you've got to make charcoal the original way, like actually burying wood underground and stuff like that. And also having to basically nap parts for your tools. Like, that's the thing. Like, when you really like a game, I feel like if you want to make a game like it, you should definitely keep on adding your own mechanics until it becomes its own unique thing. Because the thing is, if your game's not distinct enough from another game, and let's say, like, Vampire Survivors is really cheap. Like, if you basically made the same game, and the original game's really cheap, or completely free on mobile, I think. So you need to obviously make it so the consumer wants to basically pick your game over that game. But yeah, I suggest adding loads of mechanics relating to that time aspect, because I had a really cool idea your game could have. In a sense, because it's called Time Survivors, maybe make it so in the game you will... Maybe it's like a time travel mechanic, where instead of the level being basically one specific tile set, maybe you have it so throughout the level, like a time travel effect happens, and you go to different, like, periods in the level. So you go from, I don't know, like this medieval to then the dinosaur stage, like within the same level. Like you're time traveling, which would be really cool. Because the thing is, that's the thing with Vampire Survivors, is in that game, which one should I go with? Lose health. Lose golden sub health. Like, in Vampire Survivors, the levels were very, basically, you played in that level, and that was the tile set you were, and the enemy types you were stuck with. When in this game, you can have it so it changes. The different time periods change, and you will fight different enemies from different time periods, which would be pretty cool. That's a cool thing you could choose. And also, maybe make the power-ups tied to different time periods. Like, have it so maybe one power-up is like summoning a trebuchet barrage, or cavalry, for example. Like, just keep on adding more and more, like, time and history-based, like, items and mechanics. It'd be cool. Because, well, like, when I've played Vampire Survivors after this game, I basically just kind of, you know, saw how similar they are, and I thought this game needs to obviously keep on pushing itself in its own direction. But I do hand it to the game. The game does run pretty well. I haven't found that many bugs besides, like, one, I think. And also stuff like how using the mushroom power-up, the growth power-up, can be very loud when you're stomping on loads of enemies at once. And also the game can lag quite a bit as well. And there's loads of enemies. There's also one other thing I do appreciate is, you notice how I've got lightning? There is actually a setting that was very beneficial. Let me just show it right now. Flashes, like you can actually change stuff, like if you want to disable shake and like flashes and stuff, which is really good. Oh, because it was really disorientating to keep on seeing flashes of light all the time. Like, initially it wasn't too bad, but it just got on my nerves when it kept on happening. Yeah, let's keep on upgrading our character. But yeah, as you can see in this game, there's plenty of different enemies you're going to be against. There's also basically bosses, like these kind of mini bosses, and then there's like a final boss at the end of a level, which is pretty cool. Though I do think some of the enemies can be really annoying, like the griffins are very annoying, because they just basically start spawning a ton of them for like no reason. Like there's so many of them to the point that even when I'm trying my best strategy, it just, you know, it's just so annoying when you just die because you get stuck on something, or you just get overwhelmed for no reason. Even when you like upgrade your character significantly, it's kind of stupid. And also another thing that's really annoying is like the boss is when you actually first encounter the boss, you just oh wait, what? Oh no! Oh, okay. I've been talking over that. Okay, yeah. Alright, let's carry on. We went too far into it. I was talking way too much about what I like and dislike to notice that. Anyway, yes. When you reach the boss at like level, not level, like on the 20-minute mark, you will basically be instantly killed, which is kind of stupid because it's like, I've played the game for 20 minutes and it decides to straight up kill me, which I think was kind of annoying. And especially after I do it again, like play another 20 minutes, and then fight the boss, and then they thought it was a great idea for the boss to gas you at the same time. Yeah, there's like noxious gas around you that does damage to you while you're also trying to fight a boss, which is so annoying. Like, I just believe there's a lot of balancing issues. And like I mentioned, I'm basically doing the same strategies just because it's worked the most for me. Like, I basically ditched the girl because she just has a boomerang and that's her starting weapon. But Abraham Lincoln right here has flails as his weapon, so that's pretty good. But yeah, I'm always gonna trust Honest Abe over some little girl. Oh yeah, he also has I think he has more projectiles actually as well. Pretty good. They keep on upgrading that flail. Oh yeah, also mentioning how you have very small amount of item slots is basically the reason I have 8 slots right now is because you have to upgrade it, basically. Which means you have 6 by default, which is even less than current. It's even less than Vampire Survivors. Like, Vampire Survivors gives you, like, basically 6 each. Which is really lenient with many different strategies, I'd say. Yeah, let's keep on playing. Spinach. Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed. Like, I've mentioned how it is very similar to Vampire Survivors. Like, a lot of the, like, there's like, the spinach is literally a thing in Vampire Survivors, isn't it? Like, this game just needs to make itself more distinct, in my opinion. That's just basically one of the biggest things with many of these games. They just need to make themselves more distinct. Obviously, from how well it kind of plays, you know, like, there's barely any, like, issues besides balance and stuff like that. I just think that obviously there's a lot of, you know, they've put a lot into it, so I feel like the next big step is basically just making their game more differentiable. Like, the thing I noticed is just seeing, like, these rings of enemies, and just, when I first played the first level of Vampire Survivors, there's the ring of plants, isn't there? And there's the swarms of bats that move across, like the swarms of skulls. I just keep seeing connections. Oh my god, guys, it has the name Survivors at the end. You know what that means? I've got a bit of a conspiracy theory that this game is like Vampire Survivors. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's like Vampire Survivors has Survivors at the end of the name. Oh my god. Yeah, let's keep on upgrading Mr. Abraham Lincoln. Here we go. But yeah, another thing I probably could say good about it is the when you gain a power-up, the effects are pretty cool. Like I've mentioned how I like the growth power-up. And I do admit, when you do get a power-up, maybe it is pretty cool, like the effects you get from it. Like the power-up that basically increase your attack speed and it has that sound and everything. Yeah, maybe also overall the sounds also pretty cool. Like the different enemy sounds, the tinging noise you get when you collect something, the smashing the vase. Yeah, the sound effects are pretty cool as well, you could say. But yeah, I guess it's important not just for the gameplay, but also sound and also visual design as well. Because that's the thing I also noticed about Vampire Survivors is when you open up a chest or something, and you just get that kind of almost like a It's almost like like a gambling machine in a way, like a casino machine, in that the music starts playing and everything. Yeah, you need to make what makes these games really addictive is just the different, like, not just when you become super strong, but also like, that you see that dinging and everything. Like, I do admit that is quite satisfying when you do shred through enemies. And when I first played this, shredding through enemies was super satisfying, and it still is even in games like Vampire Survivors. But it's obviously something that the game does have going for it. But it, like I said, it's like Vampire Survivors, so it's like, yes. Oh yeah, also good news actually. I'm receiving my Steam Deck tomorrow, which is pretty nice. Which means I can play games kind of like this. Or Vampire Survivors. Sorry, I keep saying that. God. One thing I also was thinking, actually, is what if someone was to make like a Vampire Survivors-like game, but everything is like historically accurate in a way, in the sense the fights you're having are like in actual wars that actually happened. Like you're like fighting Spartans and stuff. Like you're fighting hordes of Spartans in a Vampire Survivors kind of format. But I thought it sounds like pretty cool. I mean. So why fight ghosts and like giants and flying skulls when you can literally fight people and inspired on real battles? Idea. But yeah. Like I mentioned, the sound of defeating enemies and picking up things would be quite satisfying, yes. Yeah, so we're at the almost 8-minute mark. I think we will fight the Cerberus boss about to like 12-minute mark, or yeah, I think they're doing quite a bit more with the bosses in this game. Like, I think in Vampire Survivors, a lot of the bosses basically were just giant enemies that just kind of followed you. I'm not saying there wasn't any enemy variety in Vampire Survivors. Like, you did have enemies that shot projectiles at you and exploding enemies and stuff like that. But I think most of the bosses in, like, Vampire Survivors are basically just champion enemies. Well, in this game, the Cerberus boss basically will shoot like a shotgun of like fire projectiles at you, for example. And then, like I mentioned, there's the final boss that you have to defeat while also being shrouded by gas. So it's like, yes, it's very annoying. The ice orb is what I'm going to go for, right? Yeah, the ice orb was what I was doing before, yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, I think Cerberus is very close by now, actually. Yeah, once these dog enemies have been dealt with, Cerberus spawns. Yeah, is the gameplay satisfying at this point? Yes, it is. This is basically why people have been trying to replicate games like Vampire Survivors, is because it's satisfying to walk around and just destroy everything. You know what I mean? That's what's so good about games like this. There we go. Yeah, I love that. Just constant dinging. Just increasing as soon as I reach a new level. Like I said, if you want to make a good game like Vampire Survivors and such like that, you need good sound design, you need good visual cues, you need a decent selection of enemies to defeat. You need loads of cool item types and weapon types. I feel like this game could need, I think this game definitely needs its own more unique stuff to it. Oh, here we go. Very cool. I like this power-up very much. But yeah, you notice how sometimes that stomping can be really loud sometimes, yes. That's basically one of the issues I have with it. It's how loud it can be. Especially if you're walking in like a massive cloud of skulls, which can be really loud. But yeah, the bug I did encounter, I will demonstrate it after we've actually beaten the boss, if we can. But yeah, going back to what I said, I think the first level definitely should be made easier. I don't know if it's simply because this is a demo and they want to make the first level difficult because it's the demo. They want to be able to show you how hard a level can be or something. And they will tone it down in the full version. I hope so they do. Because I don't think you should have to almost fully upgrade stats to complete the first level. I just honestly think the first level should be a lot more lenient with you. Like, it's literally the first level of a game. Like, if the first level of a game is too difficult or too annoying to deal with, then it can potentially scare away players from the game. Yeah, I've literally gotten to the point in the game now where I'm just earning money. Okay, alright, I need to get the ruins. They're very important. I need to pay attention this time as well so I don't die. Those are nuggets. I probably should leave them there because if it requires me to pick them up, it'll be nice to know where they are. Okay, which one's this? You must kill 100 enemies. Oh, I do like this thing where you have to do these little challenges. They are pretty cool. Though, there is, it can be quite annoying when it's like instant death, is when a cloud of skulls just comes along and just one-shots you, which can be quite annoying. So, max health increased by 50%, or enemies defeated with a critical hit give you half, or 0.5 HP. More health? Or healing through dealing damage? Do enemies spawn when you're fighting the boss, I think? Taking no damage for 60 seconds. Your max health is increased by 50%. 50 extra health, more or less. A little bit more than that. Now, what should I go with? Steel apple or vitality shard? Healing items is cut in half. Let's go with this one. I always like this one. But then that extra 50 health could be very good for the boss. Well, I think the Vitality Shard might save me from these guys, actually. Oh, nice. Power up. Yeah, these bird enemies I do not like. They are very annoying. Especially when it gets to the part where they're spawning giants, soldiers, and birds at the same time. That's probably the most annoying part of this level besides the boss. Ow, that's a lot of damage. Well, you can see how like the level kind of blends in sometimes. Like, if I walk into like a fence or like a gravestone by accident, I'm dead. Also, I mentioned how this game can lag sometimes with large amounts of enemies. Like, you can see there that the game is just lagging now from the amount of just hits the enemies are taking and stuff like that. And the amount of enemies there are. Ow, 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 ow. I don't know if it's just something expected, but I'm sure people can still probably optimize this, right? But games like Serious Sam can just do the hordes in 3D as well, so I assume they could do it in 2D and optimize it. Oh yeah, imagine like a Serious Sam game kind of like this. That'll be interesting. Oh, I hope Crow Team's not doing that. They're just gonna make their own Vampire Survivors in Serious Sam style. Oh god. Oh, there's still another relic I need to get. I have to fight these two Cerberuses at once. Okay. I'm slowly shredding their health. Well, it's not really that slow, really. There we go. Killed one. Kill the other guy, please, before the griffins start spawning. I need to get that power up so badly. Come on. Let me get it. Mr. Kern. Kill 100 enemies. Oh, nice. It just completely got rid of them. That's good. Okay, kill them quickly before the griffins start spawning. I can't be arsed with the griffins. Oh my god, I hate them griffins, man. But yeah, the game just starts overwhelming you by this point. And just getting stuck on one thing can be really annoying. Oh god, okay, they're starting to swarm me now. Oh my god. And they start spawning soldiers below you like that as well. Like, what is going on? Why are they doing this? There's soldiers below me and birds above me. Like, what? Oh god. I'm not asking for the game to be absolute, like, a cakewalk, but still, man. Oh my god, okay, there's stuff to get stuck on as well. Yeah, that's the thing I don't like, is when there's like so much that can go wrong. Oh god. I sometimes feel like this game's trolling at some points. I need to make sure I have enough health before the boss fight. I don't want to end up dying immediately again. Well, you don't really die immediately as soon as he spawns. Oh, okay, he's back. Where is he? Where is he? Oh, there's the fog. Okay, the fog isn't everywhere. Okay, come on. Oh, there's the fog. It's starting to move closer to me now. Oh, nice. Okay, these guys can literally heal me. There's a lot of lag, though. Not a lot of lag, though. It's lag. There's lag. There's lag. Oh, no. Here we go. I'm taking a lot of damage now from the fog. Oh, don't die. Please don't die. Ow. Stupid fog. Okay, heal, 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 heal. Yeah, there's quite a bit of lag from that. Ow. Thank God I'm actually not dying immediately, that's good. Oh wow, come on. Die, 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 die. Die. You're dead. Thank God she's dead. What's this? Was this the end? Thank God. Time portal's now open. And I finally unlocked somebody. Very nice. But yeah, it takes a lot more tries to actually beat the first level compared to a game like Vampire Survivors. But thank God I actually got Ned. Ned the caveman. Ned the Neanderthal. Okay. But you can't actually play the Stone Age yet. Yeah, let's do the first bug actually. I wanted to try something actually. Let's turn the sound and the music off actually. And let's play as Ned. But yeah, can't hear anything now, but if I change the sound effects up, does it work? Okay, it works with the sound effects. But the music, not so much. That is a bug. Basically, if you turn the music off before actually playing, the music doesn't play if you try and turn it back up again. So that is a little bug. That isn't too much a big deal. Usually, if you turn the music down anyway, you don't want to listen to the music anyway, so... yeah. So yeah, we've actually completed the demo, which is pretty cool. Maybe I should go over everything that I mentioned. So I've got a bit of a document I'll be able to read out. Let's leave the game right now. Okay, so now we've actually played that, I'm going to go over all the feedback. Yep, things I've liked. I like the high resolution sprites. It's more distinct from Vampire Survivors, which has more like a pixelated sprite work. Very low res and bi-directional sprites, while this game has multi-directional sprites, which is really nice. I also like the game is pretty good with all its mechanics. I think it's fairly optimized regarding I haven't really come across many like bugs or anything besides there being quite a bit of lag when like you're fighting loads of enemies at once. There's a bit of lag in the boss fight as well, and also a single bug I've demonstrated. I like the game has a faster leveling and it takes a lot less time than Vampire Survivors to complete a level, in the sense 20 minutes rather than 30 minutes. but I do think the levels are a lot more difficult. But yeah, okay. Let's talk about good things. I need to stop getting ahead of myself. Okay. There are also useful settings like I mentioned, the ability to turn off the disorienting flashing of light, for example. But yeah, there's I think it's a pretty alright game. It just needs a bit more, you know, of its own thing to differentiate it from Vampire Survivors. So let's talk about suggestions of improvements. I think the game needs its more unique mechanics that allow it to be differentiated from Vampire Survivors. And like games, because there's a lot of games that want to be like Vampire Survivors, and you need to be able to make a game that can stand, at least against them other like imitations, and maybe even make a game that is better than the original. Like from what I've heard, Vampire Survivors is actually based off a game, an Android game, I do believe, and it did better, obviously, than that Android game has done. It seems from the amount of popularity it's gained. But you need your own like more unique stuff. Like I've mentioned, maybe make it so there's a time travel mechanic where throughout the level the actual level tile set and enemies in the level will change. So like you go from like like that medieval kind of scene, like that medieval like level. You then go into like futuristic, and then it goes into like I don't know ancient Greece, and it just keeps on changing throughout the level, which would be really cool. Also, maybe make it so maybe some of the items, like the power-ups, are based around like the time. Like you've got like cavalry charges, you've got trebuchet barrages, maybe weapons are tied to it. Like maybe I don't know, the caveman can use a spear, for example, or I don't know, maybe what other things? Maybe there's like a pirate one, and he's got like a cannonball like launcher or something. Like he'd shoot cannonballs. But yes, another improvement I'd like to mention: the level tile set needs to be a bit more visible, as I've got stuck on it while in that giant mode power up, and it can inconvenience you in the sense that if you were like if the game ramps up quite a bit and there's loads of enemies about, you might accidentally just walk into a semi-visible object and you die because you didn't know you just walked into something. But yeah, that can be also an issue. I also feel like the first level can be quite annoying when I've been playing it so many times. Like when I first played the Vampire Survivors first level, it wasn't too much of an issue. Like you did die quite a bit, but I think eventually you do complete the first level quite quickly. And there's a lot of versatility in the sense you get to choose, like you got more item slots where you can do like more strategies you want to do. And I feel like because the game doesn't have as many characters in this demo, so I feel like maybe it's simply because the game has not options to too many characters, maybe. But I feel like some weapons are better than others. Like how I was constantly using like area, basically weapons that will do large amounts of damages just around me, like the garlic weapon and the ice orbs. I was using loads of stuff like that just to do loads of damage around me. The flails, because I felt like that was a lot better than having to rely on like projectile stuff like the slingshot. Yeah, I feel like Vampire Survivors is a bit more less restrictive in that sense. So I have more slots. And yeah, also going back to how I felt like the first level was annoying. Like I've mentioned how getting swarmed by all them griffins and soldiers, I died a lot due to that, which prevented me from trying new strategies because I felt like every time I tried something new, that just kind of happened and got killed by the griffins all the time. also like getting stuck on stuff like I mentioned. And also the boss, when you first encounter the boss, after trying that level so much to get to the boss and then get insta-killed was so annoying. And also spawning in that fog for the first time confused me and I just died. But yeah, I'm glad we managed to beat the boss in this video. Very good. But yeah, I really like that. I really like the game has like fully fledged bosses like that. It was really cool. But yeah, so overall, pretty cool game, but definitely needs more improvements to obviously differentiate it from other Vampire Survivors like games, and ultimately the game that kind of birthed it. So yeah, this has been Goony124 playing Time Survivors. Thank you for watching.